When you think about ancient humans, what's the image that comes up in your mind? What image do you get when you think about what they ate and where they lived? And how do you think about how old they are? How long ago were these ancient humans, the first humans in existence? When did they exist? What did they look like? I want you to now think about, where did those images come from? Because those images are your beliefs. They're your beliefs about your origins. You know, a lot of the time we don't put these pieces together. Why? Because we've been strategically taught not to. But your beliefs are based on the images, the experiences, and the information that you've taken in your entire life. And the reason that we're seeing so much depression, anxiety, and a lack of fulfillment is that humans have forgotten who we are. We have been cut off from accessing the awareness of our true origins. And it's crippling. It's absolutely crippling. Now, we have this sense of family, and our society is heavy and thick in family beliefs, right? Blood is thicker than, and, you travel with these people and um, they're so much a part of who you are. They're so important. So what happens is, if there's a dynamic in family that doesn't feel good and there needs to be a separation, or there is some kind of trauma, then we end up feeling resentment, or we feel sad, or we feel used or abused, or all of these things. And this belief then of, how could my family treat me this way? Or, then if someone is treating us poorly and we choose to create a distinction between ourselves and them, a distance, then there's sadness again, and sometimes there's guilt, and sometimes there's a feeling of missing out on something. These are all results, okay, of not knowing who you are. And the most important part of all of this is that when you don't know who you are, you can't actually move forward. And this is where humanity is right now. We're at a place where there's enough humans on the planet who have accepted that we're not dealing in truth, that society as a whole doesn't deal in truth. It deals in illusions and it deals in manipulations. And how do we know that? Because we've seen all these lies being revealed over and over and over again. But the bigger problem is, we don't have access to the truth yet. And so, we have a whole bunch of people. When I say a whole bunch, I mean like millions, probably close to a couple billion, maybe a few, they're saying a few billion humans who are actively looking for truth. And yet we don't know where to find it, because we have, number one, lost our connection with our higher selves, our souls, and we've lost our awareness of who we are, who we were created to be, what we're meant to be doing in this life, and what we're capable of. And it's causing pain and suffering that is absolutely 100% unnecessary. And yet we get up and we participate in that pain and suffering and struggle every single day. And we use tiny little blips of, oh, there's some sunshine over here and there's some sunshine over there. And what I mean by that is, you'll find a little bit of truth And then you try and take that truth and you try and take it into your brain, and your brain is a filing cabinet, if you will, of the beliefs that you've collected throughout your whole life. And what you do is any new information that comes in, you try to fit it into that filing cabinet. Where does this fit? Where does it make sense? The challenge is that you're trying to make things make sense from your human perspective. So if your human perspective is blocked or limited in any way, meaning you have an understanding anything less than the full universal awareness. And when I say full universal awareness, I mean you understand about existence, creation, evolution. You understand that everything that you do, think, say, impacts not only yourself, but every other human in existence, every other any other mammal, animal, reptile, any other living being, as well as every single element in existence. And then I'm not even getting into the fact that there's universal beings that you're also impacting. So when you have that awareness, okay, then your filing cabinet is on par with existence and universal awareness. If it's anything less than that, when you try and take your new beliefs and you put them into your filing cabinet, you're bringing any awareness that you've gotten down to your level. And what happens is you get frustrated because you think, okay, I'm going to create this and, I'm going to manifest this and I'm going to discover this, but it doesn't happen. And it doesn't happen because you're trying to do those things in the 3D world, if you will, in the mental realm of existence. And we're going to change that. About 6 weeks ago, maybe 7 weeks ago now, I was going to use the word gifted the opportunity. However, it didn't feel like a gift at the beginning. I was super excited, but also for myself, but also terrified at the thought of sharing this in a way I haven't done before. So I was asked by the creator of our universe. And I know that that's a stretch. I know that's hard to believe. I remember when I first published this book, Believe, back in 2013, and I think it's the first or second review on Amazon of it. And it's this woman, she said it started out good, but then she claimed to know the mind of the creator. And it was in that moment that I realized there's a lot of work to do here. And what I mean by that is we all have access to 100% of the information that has ever happened in this entire experience. So in existence itself, you have the ability to access every bit. There is no such thing as classified information or hidden information or secret information. All of those are lies, to be completely honest. But how can you help people remember that? How can you help them believe that? When we're living in a world where we've been told everything is secret, or we need to keep this secret and we need to keep this hidden to protect ourselves. When in reality, it's the truth that sets us free. It's the truth of understanding who you are that empowers you and restores your ability to access any information you need to fulfill your mission here. I'm not going to go into our missions and all of these things and why we exist at this time. But what we are going to do is for 2025, the creator has asked me if together, he and I and all the universal beings, if we will come together and share with you the story of creation, which means we're going to restore the wisdom of human beings so that you can understand creation itself how it works, why existence is the way it is, and how you were created within the realm of existence and everything in between. We're going to talk about the fact that humanity, we're on our fifth iteration of human existence. What happened to the other four and why? We're going to learn about how humans originally existed, how we sustained ourselves, how we communicated and exchanged awareness and information. The challenge isn't going to be in telling the story. The challenge is going to be in accepting the information and wisdom you're hearing. Why? Because every single step of the way, whatever you learn, is literally going to change the files you keep in your cabinet, in your brain. That's exactly what happened to me when I wrote Believe. And here's the thing with this one, I wrote it. So I sat in 1 week, I wrote this book. And I sat every day. And after 5 hours of writing, I was exhausted because I had challenged so many beliefs and I just had to sit and absorb everything that I experienced. And then the next day, I would get up and do the same thing. And I would challenge every belief in a way that made me crave more information, made me sad for recognizing that there was beliefs that I had to let go of. And it made me excited for what was possible. So the difference with the story of creation, and the reason I'm not going to write it, okay, is because they've said it's going to take me about 12 to 18 months to share this story with you. There is so much information to share that the most effective way to do it at this point will be to share it by me speaking it. And then eventually it will become a book. Once the however long it takes, a year to a year and a half, depending on everything, how often I am able to share and to feel the energy and get in. That's a huge part of the work that I do is it's not just working with people, it's the work that I do in my life to stay calm, to stay balanced, to stay open, and to ensure that I'm nourishing myself and nurturing in ways that, to be honest, I'm not the best at. So I need to up my game in that area. And I need to make sure that I have enough balance that I am prepared for this journey. In fact, that's actually what's been my greatest challenge over the last 6 weeks since I learned about this. So I've already been preparing. Now, the cool thing that I think it's super cool is that they assured me, even it was just a couple of days ago, and they said through this journey of sharing the story of creation, we're actually going to prove that humanity has been around for billions, with a B, billions of years. And that it's one of those things where my heart started to beat a little bit faster the moment I heard it. It's this recognition of I already knew that, but now I get to find out the how and the why and the when and the where. And this is literally the fulfillment of my reason for existence. It's why I came into this life, is to tell this story. And the last 50 years of my life have been preparing me for this moment. The last 20 years, I've been learning how to communicate with universal beings, how to receive the information and extract different information and awareness from the universe itself, the soul of the universe, from universal beings, from souls. But it's also learning how to share it so that you feel like you're in that moment as well. And am I great at that? I'm okay at it. I'm okay. But I know that I'm going to get better because I'm going to be doing this very, very often. And sometimes some weeks I'm going to do it every day, and some weeks I'm going to need a break and I'm only going to do it a day or two, and some weeks I won't do it at all. But the reality is I'm ready to share it. I've been asked to share it, and I'm ready to share it because I'm choosing to participate in this opportunity. I hope you'll come along. And the best way to do it is, well, there's actually a couple options. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you get notification every time there is a new episode, and it will be strictly, it will be titled the story of creation part, whatever part it is. Okay. Now, if you are anything like me and you love to get into the meat and the juice of what we're talking about and get in behind the scenes and actually have conversations about what they're sharing in real time, then you also have the opportunity to join my private community, which is where I'm going to be sharing the story live in, well, in live video calls. And as soon as the story part is finished, then the conversation will begin. So if you decide you want to participate in that energy and in that awareness, then I invite you to come on over. The link is under this, wherever you're watching or listening to this episode right now. But it's at michellevickers.com//community. And yeah, it's going to be an incredible, incredible journey. I am excited. I'm terrified. Terrified because I don't, I'm not terrified of getting it wrong, but I'm terrified of not doing it justice. And so I feel like that terror alone is going to propel me to work harder, harder for you and for me, because this is the one thing I've wanted the most. I want to know who we are and where we came from. Because I know and I understand that when I have that awareness, I can move forward. Everything changes. Freedom becomes the norm, the normal way of existence, and anything becomes possible, and all these beliefs, right? Like every belief you have shapes your life, right? I mean, we're going to challenge things about everything, right? Like humans originally were meant to live as long as we wanted, hundreds of years, thousands of years. But now, what's your belief on life expectancy? Where did that come from? These are the types of things we're going to challenge this year. I hope you'll come along on the journey. I'm really, really excited. So let me just give you a tiny little blip into what this is going to look like. Okay, so the first episode, the first experience ever, and all the universal beings are here right now, even as I'm recording, right at this moment, because the creator shared with me just a little blip of how this is going to go. This is the beginning of the story of creation. He says, it all began with an intention like no other yet in existence. In order to start at the beginning, I guess you need to know what an intention is. A true intention is a vision of what will come to pass. It is an understanding of what has come to be as well as what is possible in the realm of existence in which you dwell. And that's what he shared. We're going to go, obviously, we're going to go so much deeper, but it's understanding that every single aspect of existence that they bring up, they go back first and explain it in depth so you understand it before you move forward. It's actually really cool. If you go back, I was I was a guest on the Kid Carson podcast, and it's really cool because every time Kid would ask a question, I would literally have to go back and explain the concept of existence that was relevant to his question to then be able to answer the question. It's very similar to the process that we're going to go through for the story of creation. And it's also important to talk about the fact that as we journey through this, you know, you're going to have emotions that come up. That's so important. If you get angry or you get frustrated or you get annoyed or you feel joy, look at the emotional reaction, because that's where your beliefs are being challenged. That's where you have the greatest opportunity for growth. That's why I'm sharing this. That's why I'm doing this work, is literally so that you can receive the information that you need to transform your life, and so that you can become who you're meant to be. It's reclaiming your birthright as a soul in this universe. No more just, I'm just a physical human and I have to go through life and I have to follow the rules and I have to do all the things that have been expected of me since day one. We're going to obliterate all of that, and it's going to be challenging. So I invite you to come along on the journey with me, and I look forward to hearing your perspectives on everything that we learn. Thank you so much. And part 1, and the fullness of it, is coming very, very soon. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for tuning in. If you've enjoyed this conversation, learned something, or received any benefit that you believe will improve your life, subscribe to our channel so I can serve you better by attracting unique guests and starting even bigger conversations. If you know you're meant to change the world, head on over to michellevickers.com, where innovators and thought leaders go for guidance, wisdom, inside information, and support they can trust. Until next time, stay curious.